Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, we're going to be back working on this, the Traxxas TRX4M. Now, I've already done an unboxing video of this, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. I'll put a link up here. In this episode, we're going to be basically throwing £200 worth of upgrades at this little fella. And then we're going to take it for a run, and then I'll go over all the upgrades, which ones I think are worth the investment, and which ones are more if you've got deep pockets and you like a bit of bling. So, hit it, Charlie. You're just too far away. Damn it. Right, so let's get the lid off this and take a look at what's going on inside with all the lovely updates from Year Racing. Now, for this video, it's Year Racing is the parts, but I call them Year Racing as I just find it much easier. So for you that get triggered on that, yeah, whatever, get over it. But Year Racing is the actual name. So on first inspection, it doesn't actually look that different. There's a few bits of kind of brass, blingy bits standing out a little bit, but on the actual top, you don't really see a great deal of difference. Now, if I turn it over, you can start to see that the first things that jump out at you are the skid plates. The one on the front pumpkin and the rear, and then you've got the center section here, the skid plate. These are really easy to fit. It's just 2 screws. The screws are actually on it are the ones you use as well. So nice bit of protection there, and to help slide across the rocks. Quality of these is really good. Super happy with them. Next one, as you can see, the links. It looks a bit more obvious if you turn it like this, because if you put it in the right way around, you actually can see all the sizes of the links. Now, you can do them inside or outside like I've done them. I quite like the white writing, so I did them on the outside. The next big one, obviously, is the prop shaft. Both of them have done. Front and rear are both metal, if you can see that. Now, the biggest one is the bearings. So swapping out the bearings does feel a little bit expensive. It's like £35, I think it was, to do bearings in both axles and the front distribution box in here. But the problem is that would be my first go-to. But since you have to dismantle all the axles, front and rear, as well as you have to remove all the motor linkage and everything like that, it kind of pays to do the bearings at the same time as doing a few other upgrades. I mean, you don't have to. It just means that since you've got to take pretty much the whole car apart to do just the bearings, you might as well do a few of the upgrades. But the bearings have made a massive difference. I mean, this is so much smoother. It's definitely worth it. Even though it felt a bit expensive, it's probably the most top of the list of upgrades I would recommend. The front, the servo mount is now that you can see in there. That's now metal as well. Then you've got the brass plate on the front of the pumpkin. That's been upgraded. Then you've got the upgraded brass uprights. Then the main bar that goes across for the steering. That's also an upgrade. On the rear, we have the rear brass pumpkin. And then we have brass end, whatever you call those, end axle weights, wheel weights, I guess. They actually help a lot as well to keep that low down weight. So I was quite impressed with them. Quality of them is really, really good. What else have we changed? I think that's pretty much everything that's covered. Yeah, at this point. Now, a lot of you are going to be saying, what about the light kit? Upgrade the light kit. Well, I can't find one in the UK at the moment, so you'll just have to wait. The suspension I was a bit concerned about because it's now carrying this extra weight. Most of it is obviously not on top of the actual chassis, so it doesn't really mean you need to change the actual spring rates or oil or anything. All the weight is low down, so you don't have to do that at all. But what else would you like to see upgraded on this? Right, I think that pretty much covers everything. So let's get the body back on it and give it a bit of a drive around the track. So the first aspect, yes, it looks really good. If you're spending that kind of money, not only do you want it to perform, but you want it to look the part. These upgrades really do lift the kit and make it feel really premium. But then it should, right? One thing I found while driving it around, these upgrades have made a very sure-footed car out the box, even more so. This feels very planted, and the articulation is slightly improved. Having all that extra weight down low means that the center of gravity is even better. So all in all, what was a very capable crawler is now even better. Looking at the footage, the next upgrade I'd really turn my attentions to, having that extra weight in the car, would be the tyres and rims, especially the inserts, because as you can see, if you look at the footage, it's starting to push on a little bit and the foam inside the tyre is collapsing under the weight. One thing that did surprise me was the bearing upgrade. It's definitely worth doing. The actual fluidness of the truck is improved. It's much smoother. It did make more of a difference than you normally see in a bearing upgrade in a stock car. So as you can see, this is a very challenging obstacle I'm trying to cover, and I mess it up. So I give it another go, and again I mess it up, but I try to push on through. And as you can see, even though it can get really hung up, it is just so capable. That's why I left this footage in. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Rochester RC for sponsoring today's video. They've also allowed me to hook you up and save a bit of money on your next RC purchase. You can get 5% off as well as free shipping. So the next time you're looking to spend a bit of money on some RC good stuff, head over there and check them out. Use RCKicks coupon on checkout and you can save yourself a few quid. So what's my final thoughts on the TRX4M and all the year racing upgrades? Well, some of them surprised me more than others. The ones I would definitely upgrade, first of all, would be the bearings. Everybody that has a TRX4M should spend that £35 on bearings. Now, whether you could actually go and pick out the individual bearings themselves, you'll probably get them cheaper than just buying them from Traxxas. But I was surprised how much of a difference it makes to the smoothness of the vehicle itself. Another upgrade that I kind of didn't think was going to be worth it is the brass hubs front and rear. They definitely make a already planted crawler even better. So they are definitely worth upgrading. Whether you want to upgrade the pumpkin plates, yeah, if you've got reasonably deep pockets, but definitely the weight over in the wheels. The other upgrade that I would probably recommend doing is the skid plate in the center. Now, the ones on the outside, you do lose a little bit of height clearance, but I think if you're going to be driving over the rocks and leaning on this a lot, that's going to save the underside of your car a little bit longer. The actual links, I would probably hold off on those for a little bit, and maybe if you break one, then upgrade them. I didn't necessarily feel that that made a great deal of improvements. It's smooth. The shocks are what really nailed this vehicle. The shocks that come with it, they are probably the best in class, and having that extra weight down low, you've got even more performance on top, and those shocks are happy to work with that extra weight. Now, if you're really going to be out crawling and leaning on this a lot, then the prop shafts, yes, you probably want to upgrade them. You're going to break them sooner or later, so that might be an upgrade worth doing. If you're doing what I do and I'm driving inside on a indoor track, then you're not necessarily going to be crashing into big rocks and stuff like that and really leaning on the drivetrain as much, so you can probably put that off. That's kind of the same sort of thing with the steering bar that goes across the front and maybe the servo horn. If you are going to be doing heavy crawling and you're going to be diving into the rocks and then you've got the whole weight of the truck leaning on the wheel and then you're flexing the wheel to try and get out of it, or you're doing your competition stuff, then you definitely want to be looking at upgrading it. But again, if you're just doing gentle crawling and things like that, then you can kind of live without them for now. My only main concern really is just how much money you have to invest in this vehicle. Now we're pushing towards nearly £400, and that is quite a lot of money for a small little rig like this. But if you have deep enough pockets, then I think you are probably going to end up with one of the best crawlers in the market. And so it should be, really. So what's next for the TRX4M? Well, definitely going to get the light kit for sure. Eventually, hopefully, maybe I'll put a different servo in it. Maybe I'll look for a different motor. I definitely want to get the crawler gears, but again, really difficult to get hold of at the moment. And they're sold out because everybody went out and got them. After that will probably be wheels and tires to see if I can improve those, to improve the handling. As I think with this extra weight, I'm starting to push the tires, as obviously the inserts are very soft, so it's driving on like I said in the video. So there's still a long way to go with this, and I really do like it. I think it's brilliant and very capable. It's just that price point is a bitter pill to swallow. Anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and if you want to see more on the TRX4M, stay tuned and hit that bell notification. Bye bye.